She's great, and she has my face tatted on her, and she just said, like, it got her out of some dark places and this and that, and fans do have my logo tatted, my name tatted, my signature tatted, and I'm like, it has to mean something.
Dude,
it's
shout out to Bella and the Broken People.
Belen, you're amazing.
Bro. That should be one of our goals, to have like someone tattoo "Live Fast, Eat Ass" on them. You know?
Oh yeah.
Well, I will do that tomorrow.
Damn.
Because I do live fast, and I do.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm Mario.
And I'm Peter.
And we're Guys That Listen. On today's episode, we got the man that you call when you're in a dark place and you can't afford therapy.
Let's go. I love that.
Creator of the Broken People.
Oh my
Mr.
goodness.
Gremlin.
Yes, sir.
Yo.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I was listening to some of your songs and I'm like, damn, dude, if I couldn't afford therapy, I would be listening to this shit like...
Wait, you can afford therapy, bro?
Yeah, I can afford therapy.
Nice,
Some privilege talk right there.
No, some of that stuff was really good. And I was like,
thank you,
damn.
man.
Like, a part of me is like, parts here and there hit. And I'm like, I remember when I was like younger and like going through it, I'm like, yo, I would really vibe with this even more. Like...
If you were, yeah. I get you.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I like making sad music.
Yeah.
I don't really... That's like all I ever make is literally sad music.
Wow.
But it does so well.
It does.
Yeah. So it's like, why make happy music?
Yeah. No, people
At
love
that
to
point,
feel, dude.
Yeah.
It's true.
They do.
Was that always your thing? Like before, like the whole internet thing prior was always sad music?
Yeah, I think so. I was like
wow.
rapping about relationships and breakups and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then eventually got into like some other topics and stuff. But relationships is my number one that I usually go to, and just sad, any sad topics, depression, all that good stuff.
Nice, wow.
Damn,
I
this is
figure
the
you do really
perfect
good, yeah.
Why?
literally what we
'Cause
talk
the guys
about.
that listen, you guys
Actually, this is an audition for the third host.
Oh, God.
But tell us about yourself, like a little bit of the background that you have.
Okay. Grew up in Santa Ana.
Nice.
Started rapping around 11.
Oh, what part of San? What high school did you go to?
I went to Costa Mesa High. So,
Okay.
so we kind of lied.
Oh. Damn.
Yeah, I'm kind of a liar.
Your parents like they don't want you going to school here. They're like, let's get them to the white district.
Essentially, exactly. So to the whitest fucking place in Orange County, I that's where I went to school at. And it wasn't bad.
Were you the only rapper at your school?
No, I think there were some kids who wanted to rap battle me, and like,
Oh, wow.
only like 2 times,
Yeah.
and none of us were good. So like, I didn't give a fuck. It was like, yo, we both suck right now. So it is what it is. But I bet they're not doing what I'm doing right now. So it's
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Hey.
So you grew up in Santa Ana here. Like, you started rapping. I read a little bit that it was like you inspired by your brother too.
Yeah, so you know how like the younger brother usually just like follows the big brother's footsteps. So he started writing because of Eminem's 8 Mile.
Oh, okay.
That's what everyone
Yes,
started to rap
yes.
at. It's fucking Eminem's 8 Mile. And then, I just wanted to be like him, I guess. So I started writing, and I just stuck with it. He still raps sometimes, but it's only when I push him to do it, because I think he's good. He can work on some stuff, obviously, but he always looks up to me now because, like, damn, you're doing what I wanted to do, So
that's awesome.
I kind of do it for him a little bit too. It's like, yo, this is possible, bro. We could make a living doing what we love,
Yeah.
So
Oh, I'd love to hear that.
That's awesome,
so
dude.
great.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Do you ever feature him on songs?
there was a time, because he's in and out of jail all the time,
Yeah.
right? So when he came out, I wanted him to write something, right? So I helped him write a verse in one day, which is a lot for him because he usually takes a month to write. And so do I, I'm not even gonna lie. But we wrote his in probably like 8 hours, 9 hours. And it was about like us growing up and stuff. So we performed it the next day for my mom in the car, and we got her reaction, and like she was bawling, she loved it.
Wow.
But I tried to get him to lay it on a track, and it just wasn't hitting.
Yeah, it didn't sing.
Like there was too many things that I'm too picky about that I'm like, fuck, I love you, bro, but no. I don't know. And like, it was supposed to be on the album I dropped in October, but like, I wanted him to redo it, but he was in jail, so I was like, okay, bro, I'm not gonna drop it because I'm not happy with the verse you laid down.
Yeah.
But I think there's something there. but he just doesn't. Stick
Maybe
with
now
it, I
it's
guess.
just not the right time. You know, that does happen a lot in life, and I'm sure he probably feels that a lot because going in and out of jail, he's always trying to figure out the right time, right? And losing track of time in life, I'm sure that's like a big deal.
Yeah, essentially. But yeah, maybe this time he's supposed to come out in May, so I'm gonna have him lay down a track this time, and hopefully it comes out good.
What's the name of the song?
It's untitled right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we never came up with a title for it because we never finished it. But I have his verse laid down. I didn't like the way he did it.
If you don't mind me asking, I know you've had a traumatic or troubled past and stuff growing up and everything. Traumatic,
A little bit.
a little bit.
It wasn't too bad.
What did he go to jail for?
So he's been in and out mainly for drugs.
Yeah.
For drugs. There's like numerous other things that I won't mention on here, but the main thing is drugs. That's the main thing. Paraphernalia.
Do you find that your music helps him? Like, I know your music helps a lot of people.
I don't think the content does. I think more so seeing what his little brother's doing is more so motivating him rather than the actual content. Because like he trips out on the smallest shit. It's like, bro, you have your own apartment? Like, what the fuck? I'm like, bruh, it's like I'm just doing things normal people do, you know?
So why didn't you fall into that? Like I know you mentioned a little bit in some of your songs and everything, how like your brother and your mom and stuff, like what made you the exception to reach this success?
I mean, I like drinking.
I
So
know.
I wouldn't necessarily say I'm out of it completely, but that hard, right? I'm supposed to be sober right now, and here I am having a fucking. God damn, it's already full, motherfucker. Goddamn. But I won't say no. So why I didn't get into the harder stuff, mainly because I just seen my family go down a crazy path of like hard drugs, alcohol too, but I can stop, and I do stop for like a couple months at a time. Mm-hmm. I just started a little bit because it was my birthday like last week. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to loosen up a little bit. But I wasn't drinking for like a few months and stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, I just want to make sure that I don't go down the same path that my family has. And I want to set an example for future children, future cousins, and, a future generation of my family and show them they don't always have to go that route.
Because I would assume you're sort of a role model now, You're someone who has, arguably become successfsul. And you have your own apartment.
Exactly, my own fucking apartment. It's great, right? Yeah, man. I have cousins texting me here and there saying, we're so proud of you and stuff. And hopefully it inspires them a little bit, because like it's not easy to make money in this space, but so when you do, it's nice, I guess.
I can see it, like the way you're smiling, talking about it, or like you can make money doing the things you love, like being a creative. Like not everybody gets to do that.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
I feel like it's a very hard game to be in, putting like your creativity out there. That's like, the stuff that's like you're writing from your soul. And those people don't always vibe with it or resonate with it,
right?
Which sucks. But if they do, and you're making money off of it, like
it's crazy, bro. It's such a phenomenal feeling for anybody who's doing like anything artistically, podcasts. Like once this thing takes off and you guys start making a shit ton, I'm sure it's like humble beginnings.
Send us money, y'all.
Send Mario Venmo. He needs money for dates.
It's just a nice feeling for sure.
So I kind of want to ask you this. You said that you started rapping at 11.
Yeah.
Okay, at 11. And the reason why I kind of want to give some context, and, again, it doesn't matter too much, but, it takes a while. It's like a journey, you know what I mean? And I think because I've seen your videos, like, before I even heard of you. I just saw it passing through social media. And I was like, oh, that's cool what he's doing. I can see it taking off, And I think that might have been like a year or two ago. So I don't know where you were at your career at that point, but I was like, okay, I'm sure he has gone through a lot of different roads to get to this. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, okay, because from what I know, a lot of your success is from that content you're making through driving and rapping to people, right? And so I don't know if you had little stints of success prior to that.
It's definitely been a journey. I started making a full-time job out of it, I think around 2018, 2019.
Okay.
That's when money was coming in though.
Yeah.
But like success, other people word it different ways.
Exactly.
But like, for example, I've had maybe like by 2019, I had a lot of viral videos, which people may say is success. I don't, like I don't see it as that. but around that time, 2019 is when the Uber rapping thing started to take off, and then I started making money on YouTube, and then it translated over to Facebook, and then to Spotify, and then to clothing line, and then to everything. But that was because the cards were played right, you know, because usually people would just focus on one platform. But I'm like, I could take this everywhere and then build like a brand around this whole thing.
Yeah.
And it just worked and evolved. And now the Broken People community it seems strong as fuck, you know, and it seems like people are loving the content, the movement, and it's extremely nice to see.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Years of hard work pay off.
So I just want to ask you because, like, I work with a lot of creative myself, and what it sounds like to me is like you've built a business. You know what I mean? Like you're going from like doing content to building merch, knowing that you could monetize on multiple platforms.
Right.
That's not something a lot of creatives understand. Not something that they focus on because, focus on your craft, right? Focus on your artistry.
Right.
Was there a certain person that kind of helped you out with that, or is that something that you kind of always knew in your background?
That's funny that you say that. But yeah, so Rocky knows.
Rocky knows everything.
I have a mentor. His name's OP, and he's my uncle now.
Oh.
So he married my aunt. But without him, I would definitely not be doing this for sure.
Oh.
Like it definitely takes someone to unlock your mind to the possibilities, because it's like, I was like, no, this is impossible type of thing. So like the threshold was here, and he just sort of like, dude, fucking just shut the fuck up. You're capable of so much more.
Wow.
So and my dad wasn't like that. So I think I looked to him as a father figure / mentor type thing, and he just took it to a whole nother level. So if it wasn't for him, for sure I would not be doing what I love. There's 1,000% I would not be.
Shout out to OP. Yeah.
Yes, OP's the man. OP's the man for sure.
What did he do exactly to like show you the way?
So I was working at a movie theater, Metropoint movie theater.
You did Metropoint?
I worked at Metropoint from 16 to like 24, I think, for like a long time.
Damn, now I think I've seen you there.
I was the door guy, bro. I might have told you to fucking go on your right-hand side to the left and shit, But I worked there. Then I told him I wanted to work for him because he had his own business. He was an entrepreneur, so I wanted to work for him. So he said, okay, as long as you learn how to video edit and do some social media stuff. So I drove him around for years, picking his brain, seeing how he talks to his employees, seeing what podcasts he listens to, what he does, right? And the way he talks to people, the way he carries himself. And I picked up on all that, like, extremely fast, because I'm not going to waste my time with this guy, because he's a really dope person, and he's a fucking millionaire. So, like, I want to learn from him as fast as possible. So, and he sent me to a Tony Robbins seminar twice, which is like, one was $1,500, the other one was $4,000 in Florida. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to, he really believes in what the fuck I'm doing. So I took advantage of all that stuff. Not advantage, but like I took, I wanted to help him while helping me as well.
Yeah.
And he just fucking unlocked a part of my brain that I didn't even know was possible.
That's awesome.
And that's very rare to happen, to have someone care that much, to believe in you that much, to do that. So I hope to one day do that for someone.
Yeah.
Or some shit.
I mean,
That's
he was
crazy,
trying to
bro.
get at your aunt, so I guess he has to do it, right?
He was married already. Right? He was married. He was married already.
All right, sure.
I'm fine. I'm fucking taking your nephew, goddamn it.
How did you meet him?
He was a family friend.
Oh, okay.
And then my aunt started dating him and whatnot, and then eventually they married, and then I just got to know him a little bit more. And now he's like a really good friend. We're going to Cancun next week together.
Oh,
wow, that's awesome.
Him and my aunt, and then me and my girlfriend, and I'm taking my grandma for the first time.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. But yeah, definitely get a mentor for sure. That's number one, I think.
I think it takes a special kind of person too to be willing to I'm gonna go drive you around and learn. Were you getting paid at all?
Yeah, but like fucking nothing. Like very, very little. And some days, no, I didn't, because the app didn't work.
Exactly. Where it's like you have to know, like, hey, I want something bigger, I want something more, and I'm willing to learn from this person who, like, I envision as someone who's like they know their shit.
Yeah.
There's something that I want similar to their lifestyle, and I'm willing to work under them for pennies.
Yeah, for sure, bro. I think it definitely takes shadowing somebody. Like if you're in real estate or want to break into real estate, fucking go work for somebody for free and say like, yo, I'll do this for you, XYZ. Let me just shadow you for a little bit and whatever. And then eventually you guys build a relationship.
That's literally what I've been doing.
Yeah. Dude, that's the only way to do it, bro. That's
Really?
it.
It is.
That's it. Like, because then a mentor can like take like crunch time for you. What would normally take you 10 years, they crunch into maybe 2.
Sometimes it's like you have to get over that barrier of like, ooh, can I ask this person? Or like, there's like this like sometimes shyness
For sure.
or like uncomfortableness where it's like
Sometimes ego too.
Sometimes, no, not for me. Never.
I mean,
are
I'm
you
not
doing?
saying for you. I'm just saying
So
in general.
In general, yeah.
real
yeah.
estate.
Oh,
so,
for real? Oh,
no,
shit,
it's
okay.
actually exactly what you said. So
shit,
I run a
okay.
commercial cleaning company. I do this, and I'm a real estate investor. But there's people in my industry where I'm like, damn, dude, they're really fucking smart. Like they really like know what's going on in the market. They're like know so much and how to identify deals and underwrite and do this. So 2 weeks ago, I hit one of these people up and I was like, hey, can I pick your brain? Can we go get lunch? So I was like, yeah, we'll get lunch and everything. I paid for their lunch and I got to talk to him for like 45 minutes and just like really understand more, got some context. He's like, yeah, I'll invite you to some of our events and stuff so you can like meet more people in the industry and like kind of like be more immersed in like the knowledge. And I was like, damn, all I had to do was ask.
That's it, bro.
All I had to do was
That's it.
ask. You'd be surprised how many people will say yes to you if you just ask.
Oh, yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
I think more people are good people and be like, they're not as greedy about keeping secret. It's more like, yeah, like let me show you 30 minutes of my time here, you know, whatever. Like let me give you a little bit of knowledge because I was at your point. I was at where you were once
Yeah.
too.
So it also boosts their ego a little bit too,
Yeah, it does.
because
Yeah,
they're
of
like,
course.
you know, a young guy thinks I'm successful and I want to show him what I know, type of thing. So like, it works for both parties.
Oh yeah, I've had
for
people
sure.
ask me too, like, hey, can you help me with like my finances? Like, oh, can you help me with like I don't know if I'm like saving my money right. I don't know what I'm supposed to do because financial like literacy is very like not not a lot of people know it. And I'm like, yeah, and it does boost my ego. I'm like, yeah, we'll get coffee. Like I'll help you out here. I'll show you this and that. You know, just like the basics and stuff. And I'm surprised, like, damn, so many people don't know that much. And I'm like, oh, I feel good. Like I helped someone. You know,
bro.
like,
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's the
Absolutely.
opposite side too, because I know when I was like pursuing photography starting off, I asked a couple of my friends who were successful and they like would just ghost me, you know, and then they would, and then they would ask me about other shit, you know, because during that time I was running like an event company. So they'd be like, oh, can you get us some DJs? Can you get us some lighting stuff? Can you hook us up with the venue, whatever's. But totally ignore what I had originally asked about photography, you know? And it's crazy because to me, what it did for me was that I switched the way I thought. Maybe I thought like that prior, but I really emphasized on it. I'm not going to be a gatekeeper of this, you know? There is more than enough room to eat for everyone.
Oh, yeah.
So I love to fucking share it. Like, that's why I'm so transparent because I don't like to hold anything back. Like, I could just imagine, like, contributing to someone else's success in that way, you know, and I think that's super tight. And some people have hit me up through the years. I'm like, oh, you know, maybe you could do this, maybe you can negotiate, because that's one thing I did have like coming up as a photographer is that I was able to negotiate, right? And that's not something a lot of these photographers were really good at. They were basically going for like a race to the bottom, you know, like who's the cheaper photographer? That's what they constantly do, you know, like, oh yeah, let me just price myself less so I could get a gig.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And I was like, honestly, my prices are a lot higher and it doesn't match the skill set of some of the people that's out there, to be honest. And that's just me being a good business person, you know? And I think I let them know at the very beginning, like, hey, to survive, you can't just be, you know, getting fucking like minimum wage gigs, you know what I mean? Like you got to fucking really strive for more, and it provides value to them. They understand now, oh shit, instead of charging $100, I can charge 1,000.
Yeah.
And that changes their mentality. And it's just like how you were saying, like you thought, oh, this was possible, you know? And when they booked their first like $1,000 gig versus like $100 gig, they're like, holy fuck, people are willing to pay that much?
That's tight, bro.
Yeah. And it, you know, that's why I'm kind of curious when you said you thought, oh, this was possible. Where was your mindset at that time?
I guess I only knew what I saw. Like my dad wasn't making a lot of money. My mom wasn't either. No one in my family was really. They were fucking. They just weren't.
Yeah.
You know. But I knew I wanted more. So I'm like, okay, this is the only successful person I freaking know. So let me go see what he can do.
Damn.
You know. And there's a metaphor that Tony Robbins uses and that Opie uses a lot. It's like the human mind is kind of like a thermostat, right? So it's like. The higher you go, like if you get to like 76 or 75, you're like, oh, fuck, I'm getting successful. I'm getting successful. You get to 80 and you're like, wait, this isn't where I'm supposed to be. Like I'm supposed to be like a little bit lower. And then you start working at a lower level. So then you drop back down to like 65. And then it's sort of like this whole play thing. But it's like you're supposed to fucking shoot through that fucking thing.
The metaphor I'd give for identity is like, it's your comfort zone. It's not your goals. So if you took a temperature in the room and it said 68 degrees is my comfort zone, physically, emotionally, financially, I want more in my relationship. I want more physically, energy-wise. I want more financially in my career, but this is what I'm used to. And so what happens? People stay in their comfort zone for the most part. And then let's say something happens and you dip. You're a 68 degreer, that's your mentality, and you drop down to 62, 61, 60, somewhere around 60 or 59, the heaters kick on and go, whoa, whoa, whoa. You're a 68 degree. What the hell are you doing? We've all experienced that. All of a sudden you go, I'm not going to live like this anymore. I'm not going to be in this relationship. I'm not going to be fat like this. Boom. And you get this drive and you start to change. But what most people don't understand is it happens on the upper end too. Meaning, let's say you got momentum. You start crushing it. You start doing even better than you think. You go from 68 to 70, 88. You're 98 degrees. Financially, emotionally, spiritually, whatever the metaphor is. And then what happens? You're going to say, hey, your brain goes, who the hell do you think you are? You're not a 98 degreer, right? Get back to 68. And if nothing else, the heaters stop, you lose your drive, and that'll drift you back. And not enough, the air conditioner can kick on, and you start to kind of sabotage yourself till you get back to your comfort zone.
Which it's hard. I mean, we're all fucking humans, but that's I'm not even sure if I said that metaphor right, but it made sense in my head.
It makes sense to me too, because I do see people like that, and it's weird because I find myself in that position a lot.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe it. It almost feels like self-sabotaging for me.
Yeah, self-sabotage.
You know what I mean? Like I see like a level of success and I'm like,
it's scary,
man. Yeah, like what if I outgrow people? What if I act different? What if I change my personality? And that sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just be more humble. And it's weird because the thing that's kind of like driving me is my confidence a lot of times. And that kind of pushes me down because I'm like, maybe I'm not that big. Maybe I can't do that much. And it, in a way, a case of imposter syndrome kind of sets in and becomes a little difficult, because even with this podcast, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, to be honest.
That's how it starts, though. Yeah. But you keep going regardless if it works or not. But it's good.
Exactly.
Good.
So, like for me, what kind of got me past the idea of imposter syndrome is, and I'm not quite past it, but what keeps me fighting for the process is the fact that I enjoy it. I can imagine where like you don't like it and you're kind of like faking it, and you don't enjoy it at the same time, you're probably going to stop,
Yeah.
So I think finding something that I really enjoyed, and I don't care if I fucking make it, like allows me to continue. And I'm sure because you've been doing music since 11, that the reason why you never gave up on it is because you actually enjoyed it, right? That's what got you past. Like, I don't know if you have the same doubts as I had, where I'm like, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I'm not able to make it, maybe I can't stack up to what people expect. I know I lived through that, and because now I just care more about like what I enjoy and what people think I can't control. All I can control is what I'm doing and what I like to do, and that allowed me to get past it. But what was your experience?
I love that, dude. I think most of us endure that. Am I gonna make it? Am I good enough? Like I still do that all the fucking time in my head. I'm like, fuck. Am I gonna get to where I want to go by the time I'm like 40 or 45, or am I just gonna be in the same position doing the same shit? Like it's just a fucked up thing, bro. And honestly, I don't know. Maybe that therapy thing in the beginning, we should all try.
Oh, yeah. That sounds good. Therapy sounds good right now.
But yeah, man, I think don't be so hard on yourself, man. I think it's something most of us deal with. You know,
of course.
I still do too. Although maybe from the outside looking in, it probably doesn't, but it's for sure. Even my mentor deals with that.
Yeah.
On like twice a month, he's like, "Fucking man," like like everybody does.
The imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Yeah.
The imposter syndrome. Will I get to where I want to go? Am I good enough? All these thoughts, bro. Everybody fucking.
Yeah.
Everybody deals with that.
I deal with that too, where I'm like, you know what? I have carved out some success for myself. I run my family's company. We do really great. I've started another company. We do really good. I have this too. But sometimes I'm like, I feel like I'm a fake. Like I legit feel like,
I feel
I'm like, damn, I feel like a lazy piece of shit. And I'm like, this is only because I've been, and a lot of it is luck. Don't get me wrong. A lot of it is opportunity, capitalizing opportunity and luck. But sometimes I'm like, dude, not that I don't deserve this, but I'm like, am I good enough to like keep doing this? And like,
you're good enough, bro.
Yeah, and like it's just it's like these dips, and I feel like it's sometimes just part of the human experience. Like you have these like dips and ups, and I'm like, some days I feel like I'm the fucking shit. I'm like, damn, I'm doing this. Like I have this like hyper confidence, and I'm like, go, and I get everything done. And other days I'm just like, oh fuck, I'm like juggling at all these things, and I'm like, how am I gonna keep doing this? Like I feel like I'm gonna slip, and like it's all gonna come crashing down.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is just like realizing that like it's just normal to feel that way, and it doesn't mean you're gonna feel that way the next day.
I also do feel like we're in a very special time where that feeling of imposter syndrome is like extrapolated because we are in an age of comparison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Social media, yep.
Yeah, social media. And they always say, like comparison is the thief of happiness. For you, you probably think that you're doing really well, and then you compare yourself to someone else doing a little bit better. But the thing about social media and all those things is it doesn't tell the full story, right? Like I mentioned a couple times, when I felt comfortable in my own skin was when I was at a table full of millionaires talking about business stuff. And I was like, damn, I don't feel like I fucking belong here. Like why do they respect me enough to have me here? And as we became friends and talked about things, they were envious of certain things that I was doing that they couldn't do.
Like
you
what?
know?
If I may ask.
Yeah,
if
of
you
course.
remember.
I'm a huge traveler, and my life just seems like I'm always just fucking enjoying it in every way, and that is kind of my mindset. Like, even if it's a bad time, it's the best bad time I've ever had. That's the way I always think about it.
It's a good way to put it. Best bad time I ever had.
Yeah,
I'm gonna use that for my next show,
Hey,
bro.
there you go, bro.
It's gonna be on a
all
song.
yours. It's all yours. Just feature us,
Best
But,
bad time I ever. Write that down, please. Please, thank you.
but yeah, man, it's everyone's story is different, and I feel like now because there's like a trend of what's on social media and what is popular and what is like you would consider success. You know what I mean? Like whether it's money, cars, hits on your newest track. I think
U.S. track?
your newest track.
Oh, newest track. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause, it's very easy to do that, especially, let's go with hits for your newest track, now we base a lot of things on momentum, right?
Right.
Like how fast can we do it? How fast can we reach it before 40? All these numbers, right? These metrics and these rubrics. But there's a lot of things in life that are very abstract, that are non-tangible, where you can't measure.
You can't measure them.
You
Yep.
can't measure, and a common thing that a lot of these guys say to me is, to kind of put in context what I do that they're envious of is that I travel a lot. I travel like a grip load, and for me, I travel to a lot of countries where it doesn't require a lot of money to travel. And so it's not a question of money so much, you know what I mean? Like I go to Vietnam, like my motherland, and that shit is cheap as fuck. Like I can eat like a king with $5, you know what I mean? Like that shit is fucking hella cheap.
Write that down too.
And like they're not envious of me as the fact that they can't afford it because they obviously can, but they don't have the time to
right?
do it. The priorities, that's not on their list. That's something that they probably would want to do when they're older. And again, success comes in different phases in your life, and everyone is different. Whether they want to be 60 and retired and finally they could travel with their spouse, or I'll be enjoying my 20s and traveling alone and figuring out things as I go.
What was the best place that you traveled to?
We'll just call it a biased answer because that's the way people are going to perceive it anyways. It would be Vietnam, right?
Wow, racist.
Yeah. And I think that's because it gave me the ultimate culture shock being a Vietnamese person myself, right? And that's weird because, I didn't understand Vietnamese people until I went back. And to really resonate with these people was really shocking to me, because I was like, we're two different countries apart. And to learn more about myself through them was something that is priceless,
So what's one thing that you learned that was priceless?
Oh man, I
Just
think
one thing.
One thing would be Vietnamese people are not as quiet as you think they are. For sure, bro.
Now that's racist, right?
Well, there's like the ones like you, the Ham Choi people, and then there's the Hien, like me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
Ham Choi means that you are you want to party, like you want to
It's
go
like
out.
FOMO, basically.
Yeah.
You always got FOMO.
Yeah.
That's basically what he's saying.
FOMO?
Yeah, fear of missing out.
Yeah.
You always
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
go out. You always want to go be partying and stuff.
Oh, okay, got it.
And then Hien means like innocent, like
Like
more
kind.
more shy.
How the fuck do you know?
Guess what kind of women he likes the most?
Oh, I know already.
Wholesome,
They wear-
intelligent women.
Yeah.
And they wear tails.
Wholesome for him is without the W and without the L.
Wait.
I don't get it.
Wholesome.
Oh my.
I'm like, damn, I felt my vocabulary test right now.
So for me, I kind of get to that lesson that I learned that was a little different. Was that when I went back, I remember one of the first things I saw was this lady who had been greatly affected by Agent Orange, which was, that whole I don't even know what you call it, a weapon basically that was put on Vietnam, right?
Chemical weapon.
It caused a lot of deformities. So there was this lady at this banh mi shop, which is a sandwich shop. That's what we call it, banh mi in Vietnamese. And she would sell these lottery tickets, which is not meant for anyone to win. You don't win this lottery. It's just
Like, for sure not?
Pretty much. Like, if you win, it's like nothing anyways. You just do it to sell it, and people usually feel bad for you when you sell it. It's kind of like begging, but with working still, and
That's cool.
yeah. So you actually
Kinda.
work for your money still, and she had no bones, or it seemed like no bones in her lower body. It was just like jello, so she just, I wouldn't say sit, but she would just crouch down in that edge or that corner, and she would sell these tickets day in, day out, because I would go back there multiple times in the mornings and at night, and she constantly just sold those tickets. And to me, the way I saw it was like, oh, in America, like, wouldn't you strive for more? But the way I saw it was like, she, maybe she had options, but there weren't too many,
Yeah.
and she kind of would have a smile on her face from time to time. And I was like, damn, like, what the fuck do I have to be sad about? Like, this person could still enjoy what they got with all the setbacks. And here I am, like, bitching about why I got a fucking street sweeping ticket. I have a fucking card to get that street sweeping ticket.
Yeah.
And that really kind of put a lot in perspective for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm going to sound like an idiot, but what the fuck is Agent Orange?
It's a chemical weapon
Yeah.
that they dropped there in Vietnam during the Vietnam War.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So chemical warfare.
Yeah.
And,
Did everyone know that in this room? Rocky, did you know that? Okay, he recently found out. Okay, so I don't feel so bad.
No, don't worry.
Don't
The
feel
American
bad,
education
bro.
system is extremely flawed. Like you find
I thought it was a cleaning agent.
that's not good also.
That might be a good name for it. But yeah, so that was very common in Vietnam. It would affect the parents, but also it would affect the kids. So even if you weren't directly exposed to it, even the kids would have deformities. So
Shit,
I would
okay.
say Vietnam, out of most countries, would have these deformities. So you go walk the streets, and again, going back to Vietnam, I see this shit all the time because I travel back every year usually, except for COVID. I remember I saw this kid who had like a bulge on his head because of the radiation or deformities.
Wait, that still happens?
It's long-term effects.
It's long-term effects.
Wait,
So-
and it was a kid.
yeah, it was a kid. So like if you had it in your within your mom or dad, most likely your kid will have like a deformity too.
Agent Orange?
Yeah,
what
so
the
it has
fuck?
to-
They
yeah,
also
it's-
used it as a derogatory slur to Trump. Like they used to call him Agent Orange too. I don't know if you ever
okay,
saw that
that's
like
okay.
on Twitter or
Okay.
anything.
So
Yeah.
crazy bad side
Wow.
effects that passes down your lineage, which is
That's
fucking
wild.
insane, right?
Yeah.
So I just remember this kid, he couldn't hold his head up, so he had his head on his mom's shoulder as they're like walking, and he was just telling his mom like a story with his head like tilted over and just smiling and laughing and giggling about shit. And I was just like, damn, dude, like
Wow, that's crazy.
at that time, like I think I was just kind of going through some shit while I was there, and to me, I really reflected on that. I was like, damn, you know what I mean? Like you stay in like such a negative mindset sometimes you don't realize all the things you got to appreciate. And yeah, man, I feel like Vietnam is, with non-bias should be a place that people should all go to because, whether or not you're Vietnamese, you're human. And I think that's something I learned is like the empathy to all human beings when you go there.
Do you find yourself telling yourself any stories like that where it's like, you were able to see that somebody else's life and kind of like not only just empathize, but like put your own life into perspective and be like, damn, what do I gotta like really like bitch about or like worry about? Do you have anything like that in your life where it's like, that puts stuff in perspective for you? Because I know you've been through some shit,
Yeah.
So is it like, for you, is it more like, damn, I've been through some shit and now things are brighter and now I can like,
I think it's more of a subconscious thing because I don't think about it consciously.
yeah.
About like, maybe like, because my cousins from my mom's side don't have it like super well. It's not really that good, but I don't think of it like that. But maybe at some level I do, but I just don't think about it like consciously like that.
Yeah.
But
No.
probably. I
Yeah.
just can't think of any on top of my head.
Is there anything that you personally use like, to get over like bad experiences or like trauma or anything besides making music?
Cocaine? I'm joking. No, man, I think it's just writing.
Just writing? Okay.
Yeah, I think just writing, man, nothing too traumatic happens where I couldn't write about it. But like, for example, when my grandpa passed in 2016, 2017, my whole family was grieving, right? But I wrote about it. I cried a little bit. Not to say I didn't feel, something, but writing about it definitely does something, which is why therapists say, write your feelings, write this and that. So I wrote about that whole experience, and my family was like, oh, that's how you felt? Like that's, so that's kind of how I deal with things, is writing about it, which is why I think I write about breakups so much, because they happen a lot. So, it's the easiest thing to write about.
I love that because I resonate with writing. Like, I try and write every single day. I write. And Rocky knows this too. Like, we read this book. It's called The Artist Way. You write 3 pages every single day. It's supposed to make you more creative, and it's supposed to get out all the stuff like out of your head and like make you be more in the present moment, make you be more creative, but also like get rid of shit that's in your mind, that sometimes like prevents you from like living in this present moment. And it's like every single day for, I did it for 1 year, 2017. And I felt like a different person at the end of the year, where I was just like every single day, I would force myself to write 3 pages every single day. Oh. And by the end, and you reflect at the end of the year, everything you wrote, and you're like, damn, like this is where I changed. This is where I grew. Like I've made changes in my life, or I've stagnated in some. And it's just, for me, anytime anybody asks me like anything about advice, how do I get over this? How do I do that? Whatever. I'm always like, dude, just write it out. Try writing out first, so you can actually put your emotions and feelings onto physical paper and look at it and see like, is this really how I'm feeling? Is this really like what's going on in my life? And from there, you can make a decision.
So it was just writing. It wasn't like rhyming. It was just writing, right?
Yeah, writing.
Okay, right. Just writing exactly what
just
you feel.
writing. So, no, there's rhyming in there. Like, your brain goes into these spots where it's like you run out of things to say, and you start making your own rhymes too. Like it can go anywhere. I'm just
curious as to how you got that. Like, so it was just pure writing.
Writing.
Like, what you felt in the morning, what you felt at night? Or?
It varies. Honestly, like it could be anything. Where it's like I'll always write what I'm grateful for, and I'll write for what's going on like in the first part of my day. But after that, there's times when I've written songs. There's times when I've written stories. There's part where I've just like rhymed and like made up nonsense words. And like you take your brain where it doesn't go normally, where it's like you run out of like the normal short memory stuff to say, and then your brain just explores. And you go on. I've written a bunch of like random like songs trying to rhyme. I've written like random stories or just trying to describe the world around me. And like it's therapeutic. It's really helped me more than anything else.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to give that a shot.
Yeah. It can be the craziest shit. Like, it does not matter. There's times I've looked back, I'm like, what the fuck am I saying? Like, that's not even English.
Oh, was it Spanish?
Okay, kind of going to the opposite side of that, right? It sounds like there's no prompt to it. You just write wherever is free flowing. But it sounds like you kind of have an approach, right? Like a way that you write your thoughts. Because are you rhyming usually when you're writing these things? Or does it start off as like, just how I'm feeling, and then how do I translate it into a song?
Usually, I listen to sad beats, and then I just let them take over. But it's usually rhyming, and I don't really like writing. Like, do you like writing?
That's a very like hard question to ask, because in the moment I hate it, or it's like,
right.
Oh,
but then
I don't
at
want
the
to.
end,
At the end, I was
it.
like, oh, I'm so glad I did it.
Right.
I used to write like a lot of short stories. I wanted to be a writer, and I remember I forced myself to write every day, and every single day to like do it. And I was like, this is so like annoying. This is like sucks. But when I'm in it, I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I finished. I'm like, damn, that was nice. But every day was the same thing. Like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And then I'm like, oh, no, I do.
Unless I feel like you're a natural born writer, it's a little different. Like for me, like whenever I write, I'm like, fuck, is that how you spell that word? Like, I gotta go on fucking Google and shit. It just kind of reminds me, like, god damn, this is like basic English, like brain and Brian. I'm like, what the fuck?
I love that. Yeah, man. I don't really like writing for the most part. What's funny is that, so I had to finish an album because I was signing a management contract. So I had to finish this album by a certain time. But man, like I overthink so much when I write that like I knew I couldn't get it done in the amount of time. Oh, wow. So I started getting a prescription of Adderall.
Oh, I've done the same thing.
My first time trying it, right? And I'm like, okay, let me try writing on Adderall. This was last year.
Your first time?
My very first time. I don't do drugs, right? I drink liquor, right?
Yeah.
So I tried it with Adderall. And usually the way I write is I drive and I write. So like I can't sit still.
Sorry,
and write.
what?
It sounds very dangerous, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, I've gotten into a lot of accidents. So usually I drive and write. So I drive, and that's the only time that my mind is just free of thoughts for some weird reason, right? So I was like, let me try Adderall while driving and writing at the same time.
Whoa.
Flew like a motherfucker. I was like, oh, fuck, this is nothing.
That's wild.
But I liked it way too much.
Oh.
Way too much. So like I just ended up tossing all the pills like that I had down the drain. Cause I'm like, yo, I tried it for 2 months and I'm like, yo, I like this way too much.
That's insane.
I'd rather suffer not writing than have to deal with fucking this addiction because it's so good.
Is that how you wrote Late Night Drive?
I think that's how I wrote most of my album.
Oh wow.
I like that one. That one was good.
Most of my album on Adderall, and it came out good, but like it wasn't like I think it's I wouldn't do it again.
Why don't you just do voice memos?
I have to listen to the beat in the car, and my phone has to be connected, and you can't do voice memos and listen to the beat at the same time.
Gotta get you a voice recorder, bro.
What the fuck?
He's playing his videos here.
So I had a second phone.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
but
Get a second phone.
It just got stolen 2 weeks ago in my car.
What?
So I don't have that anymore. So
Damn.
it is what it
I
is.
thought you were out of Santa Ana.
I know, dude. Fucking follow me to Chino Hills, bro. But yeah, I think I need to buy a second phone to try to do that. But I'm trying to get faster, but fuck me, dude. It is such, I hate writing, bro.
Do you feel like your rise to success like changed the way you thought about things? Because I'm sure the journey itself was like, before you got there, you're like, damn, dude, when is it gonna happen? Because it sounds like when you talked about time frame, like, well, where am I gonna be where I want to be at 40? Did that feel like it came too fast a little bit, or do you feel like it came at the right time?
Well, I mean, I don't think I'm successful.
To any degree?
I mean, it's arbitrary.
I mean,
Oh, that's what I'm asking. Because it doesn't have to be hits. It doesn't have to be
Yeah,
plays.
right,
It doesn't have to be
right, right.
Hey,
financial.
bro, you got your own apartment.
So success is subjective and
Yes,
whatnot.
of course.
I don't think I'm nowhere near where I want to be, so I am hard on myself.
Oh,
right? So like
that's-
at 35 or 40, I want to have a fucking home in Newport on the fucking water. Right? That's just what I want. So it's like if I'm not getting close to that, I don't like it. I don't like that feeling, you know? So
That's very hard.
if I don't have $1 million in my bank account by the time I'm like 33, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Has your subjective success affected maybe the way your family views you? So you said you guys grew up, you know, maybe not poor.
Oh,
but like,
I mean, my mom is happy now. She's like, even if you don't do anything else, like, I'm super happy with what you've been able to accomplish. Like her and my brother are extremely happy with what I've been able to do. Yeah. I'm not. Like, you know, I mean, it's cool what I've been able to do, but no, it's nowhere near to where I want to go.
yeah, and that's okay. I mean, I feel like, I'm similar in that way where it's like I've achieved some, but I'm like, I want more. You know, I don't see this as like where I'm supposed to stop. I'm like, I want to keep going. I want to achieve more. Even though someone might tell you like, yeah, damn, dude, you're successful. Like, you got it. You got it. You're going on tour. You're doing this. You got like hundreds of like, thousands of fans and stuff. And that's amazing. But it's like, you know, you see, yeah, that's cool. But like, I want more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want out of real estate? I'm just curious.
I want to own Santa Ana.
God damn. More gentrification. Let's go.
It sounds like his villain story, dude. What the fuck?
You know how they have like the Irvine company? I'm like, dude, I want to have the Santa Ana company.
He's like, I'm about to gentrify the whole fucking city.
I'm not, because like, dude, the Irvine company, they own all the land for Irvine. Like, you know, they'll rent out houses and stuff, but they own the land. They can do whatever they want. That's
The
crazy.
Irvine company is a company.
Yeah.
You're like one person. It's like,
Right
wait,
now,
just-
Peter,
I'm just-
right now.
No, I get what you're saying. If you're saying like the Palomino company, then yeah, I fucking get it. You know what I mean? Like,
It's just the name.
I think the reason why I say that, you know, like I want to say I disagree, but I have like a different perspective where, you know, because one of the ways that you were saying it was like, if I don't get there, I don't know what's gonna happen. And to me, maybe that sounds a little like dark almost, because, you know, I go back to like the whole Vietnam story where I'm like, they don't fucking got shit, and also like, you know, comparison's the thief to happiness, and all I'm seeing from what you guys are saying is that like, if I can't achieve my goals, and maybe that's not a comparison thing, but maybe expectations, right? Because it does very similar things. Like, I feel like you guys are both mega successful, and I'm sure you guys feel happy, but I don't ever, and you know, I barely met you. I don't ever want you guys to feel like just because you didn't meet your expectations that you guys don't deserve to be happy, or that, you know, I'm not successful. And yeah, I guess this is where I'm coming from because like I've seen people do that where they put very, very extremely high expectations on themselves, which I think is good to strive for the moon, you know? But, if you land on the stars, it's not that big of a deal. And I think, some people don't understand it because, I heard this story and again, my memory fucking sucks. So it's not verbatim, right?
Your what?
My memory.
Oh, this is your marriage.
No, yeah.
Bad hearing.
No, wrong guy for sure. But no, there's this CEO. He was like a tech CEO, and one of his homies was like, "Yo, you should do this like triathlon with me." And he doesn't train. He's just like a fit guy. Doesn't train. He gets like 7th place, and he feels like he's on top of the fucking world. And he's like, "Fuck yeah, man! I can't believe I fucking did this. I killed it." And then he was like, "Yo, my goal is 1st place next year. Like, I'm going to fucking train. I'm going to kill it." I think he ends up getting like 2nd or 3rd. And he was like, that was the lowest time of my life.
Oh, jeez.
He was like, I expected to be 1st because I put in so much effort. The first time I didn't do anything, I didn't expect anything. But I felt way better 7th than I did 2nd or 3rd. And I see that far too much with people trying to have super high expectations for themselves where they chalk everything up to nothing, right? And everyone who looks up to him is like, damn, what do you mean? Like, I look to you. I think you're fucking doing great. And sometimes, you need that support system. But at the same time, it's like, bro, you've done a lot and you should come to realize that on your own. But when you don't, like, hopefully you have people around you who will tell you otherwise,
Yeah.
But that's why I'm trying to tell you right now. It's like try and be that support system, maybe,
Oh,
like,
no, I appreciate that. I don't know
Yeah.
how you feel on this, but for me,
Yeah.
I don't feel that way where
Yeah.
it's like I can balance these two ideas where I'm like, I have big, like I try and have big audacious goals, but I am happy already. Like I'm happy with what I got. I am very like content and like I could stop at any time, and it doesn't, my goals are not tied to my self-worth or my like self-respect. I'm like, if I don't achieve these, it's not going to affect me in a
Okay.
bad way because I'm like, I've already like, I've gotten here and I am happy, but I've spent like a year more being complacent and like buying into my own hype
Yeah.
where I'm like, damn, I did it. Like I did so good,
Yeah.
And I felt like, man, like I'm not hungry anymore. Like I'm not like trying like how I used to try. I'm not as motivated. I'm not as disciplined and stuff. So now I'm like, I have these big goals and I want to achieve them, but it's not tied to like how I feel about myself, because
okay.
I am very happy. Like,
So let me ask you this, right? I want both your opinions and perspectives. Like, when was the last time that you guys felt like you fell short? And what did you feel that moment and how did you get past it? Because I feel like I fall short all the time. And, listen to Mario is like, oh, have a good business. I do this and do that. Like, yeah, it almost goes back to social media. Like, yeah, we fucking succeed, right? But then there's not enough emphasis on like when you do fall short and how to cope with it. And then when you do it as people that other people look up to, like they're like, well, they never fall short. They never seem to feel ashamed or like shortcomings come true. Like when I have my shortcomings, then I don't know how to process it. I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know how to cope with it. So that's kind of more the reason why I asked, because people who are kind of, on the journey that you guys are at, maybe, have not reached that level of success. Like I'm curious as to, like maybe they can relate more hearing about how you dealt with it.
The shortcomings I can think of off the top of my head is more of like videos. So it's like YouTube is probably my biggest platform. I think I have close to 1 million subscribers on YouTube, right? So when you drop a video, it's like this video does well, but the next one doesn't do as well. You're like, it does something to you, right? I dropped a video with my girlfriend. It actually it's doing pretty well. It has 4 out of 10. So basically YouTube, if you go to YouTube Analytics, it says like where this video ranks out of your last 10 videos, and it was number 4.
oh, it's good.
So it's like it's cool, but it's like it should be number 1. It's not. Why is it not? And then it just keeps going back to that type of thing because I think 30,000 in 4 days is shit on my YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, there's other people who don't think that.
Yeah, we
They're
would
like,
love that.
That's success. It's not, right? Because I look at people who have in 4 days 300,000.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, dude. Like, why the fuck isn't mine doing that shit? Yeah. So it's the levels to things, but it's that's the kind of shit that fucks with my head. Is like, fuck, this should not be where it's at right now. This should be fucking way more than where it's at. That's the only thing I could think of.
Is this the one? Is this the what's it called? Is the happy one?
Say You Love Me.
So
it's kind of happy.
Why.
It's kind of
not.
not.
It's happy, and all your fans are sad.
No, so that's the thing too, is that when I do make happy music, it doesn't do good. It's a thing. It's a thing. I swear to God, it's a thing.
That's what.
It's
No,
a thing.
that's honestly what I was imagining.
I swear to God.
I know. I see it because I listen to your like top songs and I'm like, oh, you know, these
They're
are all like
fucking depressing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
They would love if I talked about killing myself. Yeah. And they talk about love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. Like I don't mind it.
Yeah.
But I do have to be aware of it because, you know, it can take an effect. It's like, fuck, okay, this isn't doing as well as my last one. Let me like, fuck, am I doing this well? Like, it's just fucking trash.
Yeah.
You know? It's just fucking trash. But someone may look at that and be like, dude, you got fucking 30,000 in fucking 4 days.
Yeah.
But I don't see it as success.
man, it was a good song. I liked it.
I appreciate that.
I think there's a part where
I think I saw the V2. It was
yeah,
good.
you talk about being better for yourself for her. You
Yes.
know? And I'm like, yeah, I vibe with that. I've done that before where it's like sometimes it doesn't matter what it is that inspires you to become better, just that you try and become better. You know, sometimes you can do it for yourself, but sometimes it's a woman, you know, a man, someone
Yeah.
in your life, someone special. You know, you find inspiration from anything. And
Yeah.
I think being able to do that, especially with a significant other, you're like, damn, like I can be better and I can do it for this person. You know, and you guys can do it together. And I think that's beautiful. So I guess my shortcomings would be my last shortcoming would be maybe like my past relationship, or like I was really trying to make it work and I felt like really enamored with the person. And I mean, you know, we were like on and off and like trying to make it work for so long. And it just like, man, it just never worked. It just, we tried different times, different things. And it was always, we end up like fighting against each other. We both trying, like, I know we're both trying our best. And I could never get to that point where it was like that honeymoon phase that started. And I couldn't always keep that feeling going through the relationship because of the fights, because of the arguing, where it's like I would say at the time we started dating, it's the first time that I've really, really liked someone again after years of not like really like being really infatuated with anyone and like really like vibing and connecting with them.
Because you didn't want to, or?
No, I've always wanted to. Like me and Peter are like kind of like opposites, where he wants to like, you know, kind of like be single, enjoy his life and stuff. And he gets into consistent long-term relationships like 10, 5, 8 years. Yeah. And for me, like I'm always like, I want someone to connect with. I want long-term. And mine always end up being like 3, 4, 5 months, something like that. So I am.
Months?
Months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
He's ran through. Yeah.
Sir.
Yes,
So I found myself like really connecting with this person and like, you know, we vibed on so many levels, but it was like every week was a fight. And about the smallest things, it wouldn't matter. It was just like constant fights. And in the beginning, like the first 4 months, I'm like, yeah, I can do this. Like, you know, I can keep up with it. I'm very calm. So I'm like, okay, let's talk it out. Let's communicate. Let's like find a way to like make this work. But later after like those 4 or 5 months, I just felt like, man, like I felt like defeated, you know? And I felt like this is not okay. This is kind of toxic. Like you're not learning from your mistakes. You're arguing with me and fighting with me about like the smallest things. And we stayed together for, like on and off so long because like there was like an inner core of like, yeah, we vibe. But at the end of it, it's just like there's just so much trauma that happened in the beginning that it could never like flourish again.
So, trauma, like what in the beginning?
And I say trauma, you know, but it was just like,
I know what you mean.
yeah, it was just like, honestly, like it was so crazy. I ended up making a cat. We broke up, and like she kind of had blamed me, and I was like, "Am I the problem? Am I crazy?" And I'm like, "I need to see this." And I made a fucking calendar of the month of every single day that we had a fight.
Oh wow!
You know, yeah, I wrote down. I'm like, am I like? Because it's hard to sometimes see it while you're in it, and I'm like, no, I need to write this down. And I recalled every single time we had a fight, and I was like, look. This is every single time you started a fight with me this month. And to kid you not, it was at least like 2 or 3 a week over different things. And she was like, oh, am I the problem? I'm like, yeah. And we tried to fix it, but it was just like me constantly trying to like.
First of all, the fact that you made a calendar, bro.
I know, man.
You're a little bit crazy, bro.
I know, dude. Because in my head, I was like, I know.
God damn,
Golly.
whatever. In my ears.
To justify myself, I was trying to explain to my significant other, where I'm
shit.
like, you're fighting with me all the time, and she's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, how do I prove to this person that, like, yes, you are, like, you have a problem. You're constantly conflicting with me, And it's like, I wrote down like every single day, and I wrote what the problem was. On every single, so it's not like, oh, you're making this up. Like, no, this is what happened,
Huh.
And yeah, I did feel like a crazy person for sure. But I was like, yo, I do want to make this work, but I also I feel like I'm right, like. So that was my last shortcoming, where I'm like, I couldn't find a way to get the relationship to grow beyond like the fights. And
So
like
at the end, whose fault was it? Like at the very end of the whole thing, did you guys come to some?
it became this thing where it's like we went on and off so many times where we kind of sort of died off, but like we're still like we're friends in a sense, and like I care about the person and she cares about me, but like we've talked about it. We're like we went through this cycle so many times where I'm like it wasn't anybody's fault at the end. At least that's what I like to say, because I'm like I don't want to blame her. Like I tend to be the calmer ones in relationships. I tend to be like more understanding in a sense. Maybe not more understanding, but I'm like, I can rationalize the issues going on. So we ended up like mutual break.
Like that calendar though has me a little. Some way, but
You better not be coming up with the song like.
no, I'm about to write a calendar for her right there. We're like, yeah, every single time.
Yeah.
What about you though? Like I know a lot of your songs are about relationships, and like maybe not this relationship here at this moment, because these tend to be like maybe more happy songs. But like, what have been like your bad ones, like your crazy ones, like your dark ones that you've written about, or even the ones you haven't written about?
You know what? Most of the dark songs are my fault.
And that's okay.
It's usually my fault, and I'm usually the one with the shortcoming and do all the stuff, all the bad shit.
Yeah.
So I usually talk from that perspective. It's like I am the one causing these problems, and I'm very aware of that.
Yeah, there's one where you talk about like you're gonna get there, and that you hope like when you do that you're kind of there.
So they all the love songs, quote unquote, nowadays have a consistent theme to where they are talking about growth, and it's like I was a dick, right? There's no other way of putting it. I was a dick, did some bad things, whatever. But I don't like being that guy.
Yeah.
And that's where most of the relationship songs stem from now. From Find My Way, which blew up on TikTok, which I had no intention of putting out into the world until it blew up on TikTok, and men and women were like, or women were like, damn, I wish my boyfriend would say would say this to me, and then guys were like, damn, I wish I could put this into words, and I was like, okay, so let me just tell my story and then say what I feel, but I am far from perfect. And I don't mind putting my flaws out there and saying I am a dick sometimes.
You are on the right
I
show.
am an asshole sometimes. I have no problem saying that. But it works because people feel that way. No one's perfect, and I guess that's what Broken People is about.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally what me and Peter like always talk about this, where it's like we talk about our shit. Like we've both been toxic. We've both like had a lot of issues with like our relationships, but the underlying current is like we're trying to grow. Even this right here, like, getting to know you helps us getting to know ourselves too, where it's like you're talking about your shit. You're talking about like, you've been a dick, you've been an asshole, but you're not that person anymore, or you're at least trying not to be that person. You're trying to get there. And it makes me reflect. And I'm like, yeah, dude, sometimes I have been an asshole. Sometimes I've been fucked up. And it's like these kind of conversations, just bringing it out into the world, help me realize I'm like, damn, like I am growing and I'm trying to be better. Yeah. And I know next time something happens, I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Wait, so sorry, is the continuing on the relationship thing, sorry, is there a specific person that inspired these songs? Maybe not this latest album, but like, majority of your songs were, about relationships.
Yeah. There was one person in particular who inspired these. I don't fall in love very often.
Yeah. Same.
So one girl in particular took over like the last like 4 years of my life.
Oh, wow.
In creation of love songs, because like, flings, you don't really rap about those or talk about those, but there was one in particular. But then I met my girlfriend now. who is starting to inspire these other more positive songs, which I'm not used to, but it's good to make a transition from being so negative all the time to talking about some positive, even if your fan base doesn't gravitate towards it so much. But I will say that there is some that are like, man, I seen your relationship with your girlfriend, and I'm like, man, that made me want to get into being a healthier man and like taking care of my woman and this and that. And it's like, okay, so then even if everything else fails, at least I help someone in that way.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like I help them be a better boyfriend, a better husband, or reflect on their mistakes. You know, like no one's perfect. We fuck up, you know, but as long as we continue to better ourselves, then that's all that matters.
What was it about this past relationship that like, you know, inspired all this like kind of like sad songs? Like what?
Wait, the one before my current girlfriend?
The one before you were happy.
Okay, the one before I was happy.
The one before your current girlfriend.
So I guess that was the first time I was in love.
Yeah.
You know,
it's that first love.
The first time I was in love, the first time you move in with someone, the first time you really care about someone on a deeper level, and then it just ends up going a bad way, but it's sort of your fault a little bit, you know, sort of their fault, but it's mainly your fault. But I own up to it, and I'm like, you know, I was the toxic person, and I was the reason why it failed for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, but after that, I was like, I definitely got to be a better man for the next person.
Yeah, because I feel like in a lot of your songs, like you allude to these like, you know, moments of toxicity, of stuff you fucked up, like when you've been wrong and everything.
Right.
If you're okay with, if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine too.
I am
you know,
cool, bro.
But like,
I am good.
Yeah. So if there's stuff, you know, because I feel like the music gives you parts. That gives you like, hey, this is what happened here. But do you want to like elaborate on like what it meant to you, or like the story that happened? You know, how it really like, you know, what is that really happened that affected you this bad, or like what is it that you did to fuck up this bad that you know the last 4 years?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I just know that it wasn't. Fuck, I was just a dick, dude. Like I don't even know any other way to put it. I was just a dick to someone I loved at the time, and wasn't a good person.
You're just mean, like
Insecurities, bro, get the best of me sometimes.
that, like jealousy, hitting, like
Hitting?
yeah.
No, I never hit, and I would never hit. Except for my first girlfriend. I'm joking. I'm joking.
You're like, and my latest.
No, I never hit. I've gotten close, but I never hit. Just the most I ever got into is just angry raps. But I would have never hit. At least I don't think I would.
And I only ask because like this isn't to like put you on the spot or anything like that, but like listen to your music, like it sounds like all this like stuff that's happened. So like I'm curious about, and usually, you know, the show is like a little deep dive on you. So like stuff that maybe your fans don't normally get to hear. Maybe it's like, you know, your story and like you can really go into it. But again, not trying to flame you, not trying to put you on the spot or anything like that. Because I think everyone has their own type of like abuse that they've given to their partners. And I say abuse, but it's like, you know, the toxicity, the being an asshole, you know, gaslighting, cheating. Like there's so many different like varied levels.
I wouldn't cheat on someone I love.
Yeah.
In the beginning of, you know, I think my early 20s, I did cheat, but I only did it because I wanted to prove something to my high school self, who was a nerd.
Yep.
Who adapted to bullies and to girls who rejected him. But like, you know what, you can do this, but that's not who I am.
Yeah.
You know, and when I love pretty hard. So to someone I love, I wouldn't do that, but you know, earlier, I guess in my life, I probably would.
Yeah. We all
but
fucked
not
up.
now. Yeah, I guess.
I guess it kind of comes to the question of like, what is really so different about this relationship? Because for one, you know, I've seen your content through the years, you know, just like going through social media, but you just had a video with her and a song that you wrote about her.
Yes.
I'm assuming this is probably the most that you've done content with a significant other.
Yes, I've never had a girlfriend in a music video before, aside from her. They all been like actors and shit like that.
Okay.
Or actresses.
Because earlier you were saying that like you want to be better for the next person, but for some reason I'm getting this feeling that she was also better for you. So you're a better person for the next person, but she was also better for you. So for some reason, you guys just kind of fit, and that's the reason why you kind of let her into your life of like your brand, your person, your being, your music, you know. And I'm assuming not too many other people have had that opportunity to be a part of it because you saw them as something more temporary. Because if you do this and you put it on the internet is forever.
Forever.
I'm sure you know that, and you thought about this.
Right. Oh yeah, I very, very heavily, bro.
Yeah.
Very heavily. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the difference? And I'm sure you're gonna say a bunch of great things right now. So
She's like, you better say a bunch of shit.
the depth there
Right
is
there,
strong.
I don't know, man. I mean, I dated here and there, but I think that I'm just gonna be very, very real. She's not that fucked up, right? So like, there's a lot of women I dated that just had a shit ton of trauma, and she's not gone through that yet. You know, I mean, I hope I don't ever do that. You know, like, you're very lovely, and I love you, and I hope I never do that to you. But the love is a fucked up thing, and she's super young right now, so I don't think she's experienced.
Please elaborate on her age, though. Please, like, don't say super young like that.
She's turning 22 at the end of the month.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
And
don't want to misconstrue that.
yeah, you know, and I don't think. Fuck, I should be blunt. She doesn't know what love can do yet. It can really fuck up a person, but I think. I don't even know if I'm saying the right thing right now, but she's.
There's no wrong
This
answer.
is your experience.
Yeah.
Like, this is your
So
thoughts.
I mean, she's good for me. You know, she's just great. I mean, I don't even know what to say after that, but she's just great.
Why is she
probably
good for you?
I mean, I know she wouldn't cheat for a fact. We talk about everything, and I mean, I dated a lot, but it's the only person I'm comfortable opening up to.
Is it more because she's maybe a little more of a blank slate than some
Yes, more of a blank slate more than anything. I think like there's not much to there's not too much trauma in the love department to where it could, you know.
What does that say about you?
I like my women clean. I'm just saying, it is what it is, you know. It is what it is. I don't want them to, you know. I think I'll be a Leonardo DiCaprio. You know, for sure.
You better be weird 25, by the way.
Stay 21 forever, right?
Is it because these past relationships have really like been negative or traumatic, where these people have come in with their own baggage and just like kind of put that on you in their own way, that you look for someone who hasn't had maybe as many experiences?
Yeah, so I think like the one before her, for example, she was like, I'm still friends with all of my exes. I'm like, bitch, fuck you. Get out of here. No, you're not for me, you know? And like, she understands that like that's just something I don't put up with. I think most men don't put up with.
It depends.
No.
It's
No.
like, if it's like,
I would agree
really
with
not
them.
a
Yeah, most
thing.
men don't.
Most men don't.
Yeah,
Let's
the
just be
general
real
don't.
about it, you know?
Can I ask you how that conversation came about? Because was it like right off the bat, she was like, I'm still friends with all my
So
exes?
she was like, what's your red flag? And I'm like, I think I said, I like to drink a lot. And she was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm still cool with everyone I fucked before. And I'm like,
whoa.
and it's at dinner. I'm like, bitch, what the fuck you doing here? Like,
Yeah.
nah, fuck off.
Whoa.
And then after that, it just, I'm like, okay, so this obviously ain't for me, you know?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not cool with that.
Yeah.
I'm not.
It's good you were up
Yeah.
front, so.
Yeah. And then we cut it off, you know? I think most guys aren't cool with that. It does depend.
it does depend.
You know? Are you guys cool with it?
Ooh, so I had something very similar. It wasn't like all my exes, but my ex had told me when we first started dating, she was like, oh, I'm going on a trip to Mexico. I was like, cool, that's fine. And she was like, oh, my on and off relationship is there. I was like, oh, okay. And she was like, oh, it's for his birthday. I'm like,
That's weird.
okay, well, are you friends with him? It's like, oh, we're in the same group. I'm like, I get that. You know what I mean? Because I've been in friend groups where it's like people will avoid each other. Like they're like, oh well, my ex could be there. I'm not gonna go, and I fucking hate that. I'm just like, bro, just grow up and like, who fucking cares if your ex is there and you're the same friend group? Just go show up, show face. Because if you're really friends with this group, leave it be. It's fine. You know, learn how to like swallow your ego up and just like let it be. But in this case, it seemed like it had already been so far gone that to me, it's not really an issue. I don't really. I guess my mindset is also, if she does something, like it's over for me. I disconnect really quickly.
Right.
So for me, it's like I'll let her mess up if she's going to do that. But if she's not, then whatever. Is a test, because the way I view things is people could say what the fuck they want to say, but until you put it to a test, it doesn't really mean anything.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
get it. Yeah,
and
yeah.
I mention this a lot, and it sounds fucking terrible, but like some motherfuckers say they will never cheat because you're too ugly and broke for anyone to cheat with you. So you don't really have the opportunity to. But a guy who has the opportunity to get with a lot of girls to not cheat, that really shows more about his character than someone who doesn't cheat because they can't fucking catch a girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's to me the biggest difference. And you know, when she did that, everything came out fine. Like I was, if anything, I was more appreciative that she was upfront about it. But it wasn't like I'm friends with all my fucking exes, because I'm not friends with all my exes. And I'm just being honest, because you can't click with everyone. You know, if anything, that shows me more of something that you click with everyone. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
not
there's a
everyone
quote.
has.
If you're friends of everyone, you're friends with. I fucking forget, babe. There's a quote.
Gotta look up right now.
He
has to say. He has to say.
Don't worry, we'll edit it to make it seem like you said it.
A friend of everyone is a friend of none, or some shit like that.
Friends with no one yet.
I would say for myself, it's kind of similar to Peter's, where like, at least when I was younger, I struggled with like control and trust, where it's like I needed my partner to like, no, you can't talk to anybody you've like, been intimate with or anything like that. But as I got older, I realized that's kind of like an insecurity of my own. And I had to like slowly let that go because it was poisoning my relationships, where it was like, we would have fights when we didn't need to have fights over them hanging out, kind of like in a group with someone that they had, previously dated. So for me now, it's more like on the same thing, where it's like, if I trust this person, I'm more willing to let this person go and fuck up if they do. And then I'll know, I'd rather test it, because you don't want that shit in the future. You can't control someone or have them like play by your rules for the rest of your life. If it's like, if there's like,
It's gonna come out.
yeah, it's going to come out eventually. So I'd rather have it happen right away. And it's like,
But that's not why you do it. Like, you don't do it because you want it to happen right away. You do it just because you want to like.
No.
a part of me wants to know, a part of me wants to test the trust too. Like a subjective part where it's like, because I'm putting some, when I like someone and I really like them, I'm put in those situations as well. Because like there are women that I've like, been intimate with that like sometimes like, we interact in different groups and stuff. But I'm like, oh, respectful. Oh, hey, what's up? That's it. Nothing else. There's no lingering. There's no like lingering emotions or anything. Even if like, we had something in the past, it's more like, I like someone, I'm into them, and I'm gonna respect that. So if I see them, oh, hey, cool. Oh yeah, hey, and then that's it. But I won't go past that.
That's tough because Mara's a hoe, so he
Stop.
knows
I'm wholesome.
for her to be like, oh, I trust you with everyone that you're friends with, that's a lot of fucking
Sure,
people,
sir,
you know what I mean?
please.
I think a woman that I take serious, I will screen her for shit
Yeah.
for a very long time until I know that, like, okay, you're good.
Yeah.
Like that scenario, if she's friends with him, no.
Yeah.
But that's just my.
Oh, no. Everyone's different. Everyone.
No, it's not gonna happen. It's just not. It's just not. But I respect anybody who can deal with that. That can't be me.
You know, I
years.
respect that a lot because I think in general we're at this. I don't even know, for lack of a bad word, like this woke age where it's like you could be better,
fucking
just
so
fucking do it.
stupid.
You know what I mean? And
So
I'm like,
stupid.
dude, it's not that fucking simple, And
Yeah.
to me, sometimes people describe it as like avoidant. You know what I mean? But a lot of people be like, oh, just fucking face it head on. I'm like, nah, dude. Sometimes my life is just fucking easier if it's not fucking around. If it's not fucking in front of me, And
Yeah.
that's just the way I function better. Not everyone needs to fucking triumph over all their fucking insecurities and all this fucking bullshit. Like, if you're not made that way and really it causes
it.
you more harm, just
That's it,
fucking,
bro. That's it.
yeah, just don't deal with it.
That's it.
You know what I mean? But some people are like, oh, just try it. I'm like, nah, dude. Like, you know how many times you gotta fucking try it and how many times you gotta fail for you to understand,
Exactly,
like, yeah,
bro.
that's just not me. That's okay.
Exactly, bro.
It is very subjective to the person. At least for myself, where it's like, yeah, I know that I have, friends or acquaintances who I have like had something with. So like, I feel like unfair if like I can't give my partner the same, where it's like, yeah, like I get it, it's okay. Cause like I have a homie who him and his girl, they would always fight because she had hooked up with one dude in her friend group after like a breakup years ago, and it would only happen like it was like brief. It was like a month or something, It didn't mean anything to her. It was quick, whatever. There's no love there at all. And then he had also hooked up with someone who's in his friend group, and she would come around all the time, They had their brief thing, whatever, But he could not get over that she had like hooked up with him, with that other guy for years. It was the consistent problem in the relationship. He could not get over, even though he had done the same thing. And the girl that he had done it with was still around. The friend would come around all the time. And the girl was cool with it. It's like, oh, no, I get it. You weren't with me at the time. And, why am I going to fight you when you weren't with me? And how come you can't do the same for me? When I don't love this person. I love you. And we're still going to cause problem every single time. That's when I'm like, hey, something needs to...
Although there is a different perspective from girls getting fucked to guys getting fucked.
There
yeah,
is.
of course,
There
of
is.
course.
There
Sure.
is. There's
Let's not
definitely...
get that confused.
Oh yeah, there is a huge difference in the way that people perceive it. Obviously, the physical is the same shit, right? That's girls getting fucked, guys getting fucked, whatever, right? But I think what Mario's trying to say is like the equality of things as far as like the actual action goes, right? Because for me, like I didn't really, going to that where she explained that she was going for basically ex's birthday. Like I didn't really have the same, like none of my exes were around, but she had known that like I had fooled around with people not at my events. I would never do that, but like
What events?
so I throw nightlife events. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
like a lot of hip hop stuff, like a lot of DJs, a lot of just being the guy to put everything together with my partner Donovan. And when you're that person who brings a lot of people together, you get a lot of attention. It's not attention like, oh, she wants to fuck you, but it's more like attention like, hey, how you been? Like, I want to catch up with you, grab a drink, let's talk, And being a person in nightlife and you drink a lot, there is like a negative stigma, like you might do something. So that was hard for her to get over. And that's when I realized like, okay, we're not really on the same page. And that's what made it difficult for me. But I'm assuming in your case, because it seems like you guys have a very healthy relationship and that the fact that you're able to speak on this, that she doesn't really pay too much mind to the fact that you've maybe made songs to a person that, stemmed for like 4 years, because the songs that you have with her are actually positive versus like a negative thing.
Right.
And that's awesome. Like I don't know a better like green flag than the fact that you're willing to only talk positively about your significant other than just shit talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So I know that you mentioned that you made a happy song with your girl, and that happened to be one of the songs or pieces of content that you were unhappy about the result with, because you were saying that, man, like I thought it would get more hits. I thought it would be better than fourth. It should be first. As an artist, do you feel like because you've made so much sad music that you're pigeonholed into a certain type of like song or a certain type of tone when it comes to your songs?
So I made a song with an artist called Futuristic. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but I made a song with him called Too Many Days, and it is so hard. Like for sure, it would get any place popping. Like it is just super dope. And ended up being the worst music video I put out in the last 2 years.
Oh, wow.
But it is dope. Like
Yeah.
if you played it, you'd be like, yo, this shit is hard. But I did pigeonhole myself into this lane of being this artist that creates sad, uplifting, or sad music, sometimes uplifting, whatever. But I'm not mad at it, Like
Yeah.
I kind of didn't want to put out that song that I did with him, but I did it to test the waters, and I was right. It didn't do as well as I thought it would.
Wow.
So I'm kind of I kind of make sure that I don't put out songs like that too often.
I'm not a musician, but I have noticed that kind of tendency with like followers or audiences where you switch it up and people are like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is not what I subscribe to. This is not what I've been listening to. But for me, in hindsight, a lot of those artists that did switch their lane, like I've stayed a fan of just because I actually like their music and not just like what they represent at the time. Linkin Park is like a big one, you know? When they changed their sound, I was like, this is different. And it took me a while to get accustomed to, right? But then after a while of listening to it, I was like, I actually do like all their shit, like regardless if it doesn't sound like their old shit. Do you feel like that kind of stifles your progression as an artist? Because now you mentioned like, I try not to put out too much of that shit, but I'm sure you as an artist, you just want to present what you feel at the time, you know, instead of like, hey, I got to follow this blueprint or this kind of like ideology of what I'm supposed to be.
I mean, I don't mind putting out sad music. I really don't. If it does well, it does well. If it doesn't, I'll probably never do it again. And if they want it again, then they're gonna have to blow that song up. But like, if it doesn't do well, I probably won't ever do that style ever again.
Wow.
You know, which I'm cool with though.
Yeah.
You know, like I like making sad music anyway. I did this as an experiment. I like making sad music that makes people cry and make people feel some type of way. But if I put out a single that's supposed to get people jumping and shit, I understand why they don't like it, and I'm cool with it.
Oh wow.
Do you have to be sad to make sad music?
No, I'm usually happy, buzzed while I'm writing these, and I'm happy. Yeah, it's been a while since I wrote a sad song in a sad place. I usually have to stem from a sad place to write these sad songs.
So what does that mean for your future? Because I assume, you know, you're only going to get happier, your relationship's going to get deeper, your success better, more and more. Like, you're going to be in a happier place.
Yeah.
Will you still be able to, like, reach out and, like, make that kind of sad music? Because it feels like you've grown. Like, that was the whole purpose of the albums, too.
Yeah.
Like, you've grown, you're happier, you're more you than ever. Will your music change?
Yeah, I probably have to adapt. But right now, I'm still making, like for the last song that I did, which was about my girlfriend, it was sad and positive at the same time, which I think I still have to keep that good balance of sad and positive. I was this sad guy, but I brought it to a positive state type of thing.
It sounds like you're transitioning like little by little versus like going straight into just like the happy shit, right? Because you think about like someone like Taylor Swift, she's like, I gotta find a new boyfriend. I need new material. You know what I mean?
So I was just thinking about that right now. So it's like, if we were to break up, I would go back into that place of making the music that people really like.
Wow, the content off of that would be amazing.
It would,
Because the heartbreak would just be so crazy.
It would be insane.
No offense.
It would be insane, you know. But like, I'm willing to do that because. And that's usually why I like breakups, because
Me too.
They bring out good
They
shit
do.
in us, bro. They bring out
Dude,
good shit.
every single time I've gotten my heart broken, I always become a better man. Like, every single time I'm like, I push myself to like become better in like so many aspects of my life. At a certain point, I was like, just break up with me. Like, I need to get better.
That's it, bro. That's it. That's it. Like, I need to get better. It's so real, dude. I love it.
Oh damn.
I love it, bro. I don't know, but I do feel breakups do bring you to a certain place, but I'm happy where I am now, but until that thing comes, I will make sort of happy music. But if we ever were to break up, we about to go crazy.
Your family.
We're about to go crazy. I'm about to make the best breakup songs of my life.
Damn,
That's it.
You know, on the opposite of that, just shows how much he cares about you, right?
True.
Yeah.
Is there a
much.
name for your fan base? Is it just broken people? Or?
Broken people. That's
Okay,
it.
I just imagine there's like two camps, like, you know, broken people and then the broken up people, like hoping for you to break up.
Nah,
so
bro.
You make sad music again.
So the whole goal of broken people is to grow, right? So it's like, we are broken people. I think everybody, you've gone through pain. You've gone through pain. We have gone through pain. I think it's to come out the other side a better person, to grow, to make your past pain become your power is the whole point of this broken people thing. So I think it fits into everybody.
Ooh, I like that.
You know?
No,
Your
I
past
agree.
pain, make your past pain into power. That's solid. What's the origins? How did it start?
I met someone at 4th Street Market that she had a story that was similar to mine, where her mom was an addict and she sort of wanted to become a better person and help her family out and this and that. And it was my first time meeting someone who had a similar story to mine. And I was like, okay, so I'm not the only person out there going through this. So I made a song about her. I met her that one time. We never kissed, never did anything. I just met her that one time and just made the song about her called Broken People. And after that, I was like, Broken People would be a great name for a group of people who are trying to better themselves, who have gone through pain and shit like that. And it just sort of took off from there. You know, like it was just like, that's such a dope name.
Yeah.
You know, and then you see other artists steal that name a little bit. I won't mention their name, but
Who?
But you know, it did something to people, and it continues to do something to people. So I hope it continues to uplift them and help them somehow. You know,
What are some personal stories you've heard from like other broken people that you feel have been like the strongest that have affected you?
there was a story on tour. Rocky, what was the story I kept telling on tour? Got it. Okay,
Wow.
so in case you guys didn't hear that, so
We'll edit it.
I was on tour and there was this song called "The Flames" that I did.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
And
Sounds good.
it inspired some girl who was in a very abusive relationship for 12 years or some shit, I believe. And she heard that song and it inspired her to break up out of that relationship finally, right? And then get into real estate and then got her first home. And I'm like, fuck, I was a part of her story. She will
awesome.
remember me forever.
Yeah.
Because I was able to get her out of that dark place, you know, and
Rise like a phoenix.
rise like a phoenix. This motherfucker knows, goddamn. Doing your research. Let's go.
I thought you said rise like a penis. I was like, what?
Sir.
Yo, come on, bro.
This is a family podcast. Are there any fan stories that you want to highlight? Any of them that have over the years who have like reached out to you and like told you like, hey, dude, this is what happened to me, and like, thank you.
There is one girl, Belen. I know she'll probably be watching this. She has my whole face tatted on her.
What?
Wow.
Whoa, that's
My whole
crazy.
face, bruh. Like,
Does it look cute or
I mean, no. So like I look great.
okay? Making sure. There's good artist thing. Good artist.
No. So her artist is fantastic, and she has my face on her, and I'm like, fuck, like I wouldn't even get my face. Like, why would you do that?
Hey, you better get his face on. You better get his face on you.
You better get my fucking face. I swear to God.
Has to be a back tat though. Like, looking back.
I'm not gonna say it. No,
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
But she's great, and she has my face tatted on her, and she just said like it got her out of some dark places and this and that, and fans do have my logo tatted, my name tatted, my signature tatted, and I'm like, it has to mean something.
Dude,
It's
shout
so-
out to Bella and the Broken People.
Belen,
Yeah.
you're amazing.
That should be one of our goals, to have like someone tattoo "Live Fast, Eat Ass" on them.
Oh yeah.
Well, I will do that tomorrow
Damn.
because I do live fast, and I do.
Going back to that, I'm kind of curious about your tour because as a person who curates events, also I've never done a tour because usually we travel just around OC or LA, so it's not very far. But I don't know if you get the same feeling. Was that tour your first tour?
That was my first legit tour. Like I've done tours I booked myself that went half-ass, but like this is my first like legit tour.
Okay, so
First legit, yeah.
I'm just gonna kind of go into my own thought process whenever I do events. If we're not doing an event that's because most of our events, the way it works is it's free till a certain time, and then tickets after, right? Or you pay at the door. So when you don't get all the ticket sales up front or before the show, I get this feeling of uncertainty, like, oh fuck, what if this shit bombs?
Yeah.
And that's just one night. Like you going on tour, like multiple locations, different states, right? Different kind of people. like, how did you guys handle that to know, the logistics and if this event's gonna be good or not?
Yeah.
Or did you just go into it blindside, like, let's pray for the fucking best?
So we put out the announcement for the tour, right? And we put it out, I think, in August of last year. And I think within 30 days of doing it, I was like, I want to cancel.
Wow.
And I wanted to cancel just because I'm so unsure of myself and just like, you know what, I don't think I can do this, right? And then my mom fucking puts up the tour shirt, hangs it up on her wall, and she's like, Mijo, I got this done because you're doing this tour. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, so I definitely can't stop this now, right?
Yeah.
Can't disappoint your mom.
Like, mom, like, I love, like, she's the best, obviously she pushes me without even knowing it. But I would not have done this tour if it wasn't for her putting up that shirt on that wall.
Wow.
Because bro, like it's so unsure. It's like I probably will lose money on this tour. I've never done a tour in my life.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it's gonna go. The first show, horrible. I will never do a show in Oakland again.
Oh wow, Oakland.
I will never do a show in Oakland again. But the next day, the show was fucking amazing. Rocky can attest to that. Fucking Sacramento was amazing.
Oh wow.
And it's like it's really taking a risk on like on an ego thing, right? So it's like some shows will do well, some shows will do bad. But it's like fuck it. Like it is what it is. And me being the headliner, it's like if it does bad, I have to deal with it. Like no one else has to deal with it.
Yeah.
I have to fucking deal with it, right? But it's something that I'm like, you know what? This is what I dreamed of since I was a kid. If it goes bad, it is what it is. I know that later on in life, when I'm fucking selling out a shit ton, I'm gonna look back on this and like miss it.
Yeah.
Or like some shit, So
I feel
I'm
you,
gonna miss being with the homies and like being like, yo, man, remember when we used to sell out like little venues and like we didn't pack out anything and this and that, and then we did LA and that shit was fucking crazy. Like that was the most packed show I've ever done in my life.
Oh, nice.
Which I wasn't expecting. I was like, this shit's gonna do bad.
How many people are we talking like?
I don't know. It was like 250 capacity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? But 250 to me is like, you can bring 250 people anywhere? That's crazy,
Yeah.
right? So we sold out of that
Nice.
very fast, and it was packed wall to wall, and it worked. And even though some shows did not do that, it gave me the confidence to be like, it's just gonna keep going bigger and bigger. And even if the other shows didn't do as well, just keep pushing, man. Fuck it. Like some shows would do well, some shows would do bad. You grind it through like every musician does, and you just keep pushing.
Yeah, it's cool to hear from your experience, as like the headliner, because my experience is as the event coordinator, So
Okay.
kind of same thing, like it kind of falls on me, right? Like who's going to take a loss? I am going to take the loss if it doesn't pan out. And it goes back to like, I want to talk about this earlier, where it feels weird because we're in a day and age where everything is like quantified. Like there's a fucking number, right? There's a fucking metric. Like, 250 people, 400, 500 people. And that's where you kind of like, or 1,000 views, 1 million views, like 30,000 views in 4 days. That's kind of like where you pinpoint your success to. But, and maybe this is just me. Like I've noticed that some of my best times doing these events are not really with the biggest numbers. Like it's nice. Don't get me fucking wrong. If the line's wrapped around the building, it feels fucking great. But when people are really there for you and what you built, and they're not really there for me. Like some people are there for me, but it's the music that we curated together. The lineup, the artists. Like it feels amazing because I rather have like 100 really true
Diehard fans. Yeah, for sure, bro.
and 1,000
For sure.
people who don't really fucking know me
Yep.
as like or what I do or what I've built. Like who's just there just because they're there.
Yep.
And hearing you talk about that one girl who got that tattoo, because it's just one person, but in the same way that she's always gonna remember you because she could just look over her shoulder.
Literally.
Like you're probably never gonna forget her.
Right.
You know? So I think that's super tight for you to go back on that and kind of elaborate on those experiences of yours because it shows how far you've gone as an artist because I'm pretty sure she's probably not gonna be the last one to get her face tattoo on you. The second one being right there. Just kidding.
You better get my fucking face tatted. I swear to God. Underneath the titty. Let's right there.
He'd be like,
Kiss myself on the lips and shit.
Dude. That's tight, dude. Because damn, dude, you've really grown as a fucking person. Especially in tour, you probably grew hella fast, going through ups and downs. It sounds like a roller coaster, right?
Bro, tour was best time of my life, man, and I loved having Rocky on it.
I thought he was gonna kiss.
You know, and going with the homies and shit, and just like figuring this out, and it's just like, man, it's such a nice thing, you know. And then at the end, it being so like big and dope, it's just like, man, this is really what we're coming to, you know, because the other ones were like small here and there. Sometimes you had this amount, sometimes you had a smaller amount, and then but then LA would just like pop in, you know. It's a nice feeling, man, you know, especially to do it with the homies.
I think if there's any lessons to be learned from that, it would be that if you analyze your life in pieces, like small pieces, some days it's gonna look fucking terrible because that's all you're looking at, right? But if you look at the bigger picture and what you're there to do, like it ain't that bad. Sometimes it's actually beautiful
to help people, to touch people. You know, we have a tour coming up soon, which I can't say too much about, but I don't know how it's gonna do. I don't know what we're gonna do, what numbers we're gonna do, but you know, I hope to impact and touch some people's hearts. You know,
Let's get it, man.
Man, let's get it. Let's sold out tours, baby.
You mentioned your mom and everything, and I just wanted to ask, like, has your music helped her with like the substance abuse and everything? Like,
so she's been sober for 15 years, I think.
Oh, I love that.
Nice.
You know, I mean, she drinks like beer here and there.
That's
like
fine.
that doesn't
Yeah,
count
that's
as to what the shit like she's done.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, but you know, she definitely does look up to me. She's like, you helped me and like overcome this and
Nice, dude.
and see a brighter future in this and that. You know, and I have goals for her. You know, I hope to buy her a house someday and
Nice.
do some cool shit like that. You know,
That's where's that, man. That's
Good shit.
I think we'll do more for others than we will ourselves. So, you know, like you probably do more for your mom than you will for yourself.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you as well, which is why I've done the tour. I only did it for her. Like otherwise, I would have canceled.
True.
No, and that's why I asked, because I'm like, you
know?
said that, and like your mom's so proud of you, and like she sees it, and like sometimes it's like the things we do for our parents because they took care of us when we were younger, or you want to give back. You know, it's his family. It's I'll do this because I wanna make you happy. I want to make you proud. I want to give back to you for everything you've done for me.
And I don't know what your your parent situation is. Your parents love you?
Yeah, they do, and no, it's good. It's good.
This guy gets
It's a weird relationship. It's weird. Yeah, it's not that black and white, I guess. You know,
Peter's
like-
dealt with his share of like
Okay.
abuse and everything
Yeah,
too in his
I get you, bro.
relationship.
I
So
get
it's
you.
like,
Yeah. Like my parents, I think the hardest part for me to accept is like, we get older and by a certain age, like I don't really think too much about age, but I do when it comes to my family, because like time is limited, right? Like I'm just thinking about my pops where I'm like, bro, you're getting a little bit older. Your health is not quite where it needs to be or should be. And I'm like, damn, like I haven't achieved the level of success to like buy them a home, you know what I mean? Or like make sure you don't worry about your bills and you don't have to come into work. And just to put in some kind of context, my dad is a construction worker. He owns his own business, but has gone through a lot of like financial troubles.
Yeah, same, bro, with my stepdad.
Yeah.
Same thing. Same
Yeah.
thing.
And it gets to the point where I'm like, this is one of the things I realized was as a construction worker, someone in the labor force, he got sick for a little bit and he couldn't work, and
It's a lot of money.
a lot of money couldn't provide. And he doesn't have any kind of retirement because, we're first gen, like he doesn't know anything about financial literacy. So to me, I was like, damn, dude, like I gotta do a lot because, worst comes to worst, like he's not around and what happens to the family, And, I feel like he recently had an episode of depression, and he just basically couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like he couldn't. Like, how am I gonna get out of this? What am I gonna do? You know, and I think that's why, because he has like a gambling problem, and that's why I think he resorted to gambling. Like, this could be my big break, right? Because me doing jobs day by day is not getting me there, and right now I don't know what else to resort to, and that's tough. You know what I mean? Because like, just like how they want to give you the best life that you could possibly have, like you want to do the same.
Yeah.
And you know, in that sense, I don't know if I'll ever provide that, but I'm not saying that's a reality I'm willing to accept. I'm gonna work towards it, but that's a reality that I can't see. You know, whether it's true or not, well, you know, time will tell. But it is it's tough.
I love that, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Oh, that was so good.
Appreciate it.
That was so good. And that was your dad, right? Now your
Yeah.
stepdad
No.
is
Yeah, my
this was your
dad, my dad. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My stepdad is kind of the same way. Where it's like I kind of hope to provide for them, and like they kind of go into that thing. But that's really nice, man. And I definitely hope you are able to achieve what you want to, so that you can provide for them.
Thank you, bro.
A lot of the
Likewise.
a lot of the people we have like on this show, like I said, like we learn about them and we're learning about ourselves at the same time too.
Yeah.
Where it's like we've had a few people hit us up about the person we're seeing this week, Jay Taj, who talked about his dad.
Yeah.
Passed away 12 years ago, and it was so impactful for him. And we've had multiple people be like, I feel this so much. Like, I'm going to go hang out with my family this week. You know, like I realized that like just bringing up these topics, just talking about it, bringing like awareness to it, like, yeah, like I want to provide for like my family. I want to do this for like the people taking care of me. Like people resonate with that and be like, damn, I need to do the same. I need to like, you know, spend the time I still have with them while I still have it. So I love doing this. It's the fucking best. Hey guys, welcome back to Lightning Round, where we ask our guests some rapid fire questions. Gremlin, are you ready?
I think so.
3, 2, 1. When's the last time you cried? Drink.
2 months. 2 months.
2 months? Okay.
Probably.
When's the last time you were the most happy?
Today.
Ooh, okay.
Nice.
What's your favorite food?
Pizza.
Pizza? What kind?
Only because my girlfriend likes pizza, and like
okay.
that's it. And like she got me into it.
You
Nice.
weren't into pizza?
No,
Oh.
I don't like being a fat ass. So
Oh. That's why you're like, oh, no beer, I don't want the carbs.
I don't want the carbs. I don't want none of that. Luckily, she orders a thin crust pizza, so like I'm good.
What's
This guy gets
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
That's because you're fat.
That's it.
Hey,
That's
you
it.
know,
What's your
Big
favorite
Brother's
pizza?
gotta live.
Mushroom and sausage.
Okay. When'd you lose your virginity?
Fuck, 18.
When was your first kiss?
4.
4.
Daycare,
What?
bro. I kissed her to sleep.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah, like you know how like some guys like we had like bedtime.
Yeah.
I kissed her just I gave her a kiss on the forehead and went to sleep.
Oh, okay.
What? Okay.
Oh, dang. you
Wow.
slept
I've been
early.
a nice guy since I can remember, bro. Like I don't even. I swear to God, I'm not even lying, bro.
Yeah.
I gave her good night. That's it.
Aw.
Oh, wow.
And that bitch went to sleep.
What inspired the name Gremlin?
My mom, because she couldn't think of a better name, and then I watched the movie and it was fucking horrible. But it's too late to change it now, so that's it.
Who inspires you the most?
Tony Robbins. That's the only thing I can go with.
Shadow
right
the
now.
Giant. If you could work with any artist, who would you work with?
Eminem.
Oh.
The GOAT.
Favorite Taylor Swift song?
Ooh.
He's so excited.
What's that song? What's the song? The one I always like play loud. No. Hold on.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, look. Here's the thing. I don't like Taylor Swift, but her last album, I don't give a fuck what anybody says, was fucking phenomenal.
Romeo,
Midnight was
save
fucking
me
phenomenal.
so that we can
Anti-Hero
be alone.
was amazing. Her whole last album, Rocky, listen to it tonight. Get inspired, bro.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift sounds lame, right? But like, no, it's so her last album is so good, bro.
Yeah.
So good.
I'm gonna listen to some Taylor Swift tonight.
Yeah.
All
Bro,
right.
it's so
Taylor
good,
Swift
bro.
for a while.
It's so good. But Anti-Hero is so
Anti-Hero?
good. So good.
Damn.
Do you have a fetish?
I really don't.
Wow.
I really don't.
What's you don't like feet?
What?
I don't.
What's the weirdest thing about you?
I got the coolest butt cheeks in the world.
Hey, there's the fetish.
She shook her head. That's her fetish. That's her fetish.
Hey, we're actually a rated R podcast. If you want to show them, go ahead.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, for sure. She always says I have the coolest butt cheeks in the world, so I'm just gonna stick with that. All right. They're doughy like bread.
What's red flags you don't? What's some what's some red flags you don't fuck with? Like,
talking to exes, having more than 10 partners, maybe even 8. You know what? 5. You know what?
I'll just fucking leave. Damn. All right, and my last question: what is one goal that you have for this year?
$1 million in my bank account.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
That's it.
Let's get it, baby. All right, my turn.
Oh,
All right.
shit.
Yep.
2
Yes.
lightning rounds?
Yes. Two rounds.
Oh, my
rounds.
God.
Yep.
Okay.
Gotta be quick on your feet.
All right, let's go.
If you weren't making sad music, you would be making.
Glad music.
Okay,
Don't
fair.
get sad.
Yeah.
Get glad.
If you weren't a rapper, you would be.
I gotta take a drink.
Yeah.
I'm flicking out.
Damn, that's kind of good in a way, right? It's like that's ride or die. That's all I got. Oh, you still got to answer, by the way.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
For real? I'd be working probably in EMS.
EMS is
Emergency services.
okay. Got it. Okay. One thing you would tell young Gremlin.
Dumper, you're gonna have a hotter girlfriend later.
Okay. Damn, some brownie points right there. If you had one place you could travel to this year, where would it be?
Greece. Where's that one place where the place is all white?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It.
Those houses?
Everyone posts that one. Like,
Yeah, it
Mykonos.
Huh?
Mykonos or something?
yeah, that one.
Mykonos.
Yeah,
Mykonos.
Mykonos.
Yeah.
There
Sorry for
I would go.
butchering it.
That
Yeah.
shit looks crazy, bro.
Yeah.
I like to travel a lot in Mexico, but to there would be fucking fantastic. Like that would
that's
be
nice.
great. Or Vietnam.
Oh,
Yeah, I knew
damn. Okay, tight.
Apparently,
Hey, you gotta go,
Did you
bro.
say-
You gotta
did you
go.
say
I'm
it's
telling you
dope,
right now.
so
I'm vouching
I'm gonna
for
give it a shot.
Putting my name on the line.
Let's go.
All right.
Send them your Rex.
Imagine this. You go on the biggest tour of your life. Where would you end it?
Los Angeles.
Damn. Bring it back.
Beautiful place. Not really, but
Okay, and my final question.
question.
What is your favorite sad song that is not yours?
Dean Lewis, Half a Man. Does anybody know that?
That sounds familiar. That sounds hella familiar.
Dean Lewis, Half a Man. So
Well,
everybody
we'll
go
probably have to
home
play
and
it.
listen to that and cry yourself to sleep. Like, that shit is beautiful.
I got one final question. If you could change anything about your girlfriend, what would it be?
One thing I could change about my girlfriend. She has some big feet. I'm joking. I'm joking.
I was like, damn.
God damn, that shit's so
What are
those? I really can't think of anything. She's perfect. I won't change anything. She's perfect. I won't change anything.
I love the answer.
All right, guys, that concludes our lightning round. I want to say a thank you to our very fun guest, Gremlin.
It was a great time, bro. Thank you
Let
for
us
having
know
me.
where we can find you.
Gremlin raps everywhere. Luckily, I came in early, so Gremlin raps.
Thank you for our guest for being so inspirational and just telling his story and sharing like his thought process to breaking through as an artist. Appreciate it, hella.
Oh, man.
And thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment below what you guys want us to talk about next. And remember,
Live fast, eat ass.